Hey guys, welcome back. Warren here. How are you guys doing out there? So today I want to talk about kind of deep dive into a phrase that we commonly use every day. And either we've used it or at least heard it maybe several times, if not more than that. And that is that everything happens for a reason, right? I know you've heard it before. And it's an idea woven into our daily conversations, right? It comforts us during hard times and it helps to shape the way we view the world. But what if I told you that that phrase, far from being a universal truth, might be misleading and even harmful? What if I told you that? But before we deep dive that though, do me a favor and hit that like button and the subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so that you can get awesome episodes like this one. And I'm gonna go make some tea. All right? We'll see you in a bit.
Allow those leaves just to absorb and release all that good, you know?
I have chai tea. I don't know what you have, but doesn't matter. Just so long as you have something hot. All right. And I want to unravel this. I want to unravel the logic behind the statement everything happens for a reason. And I want to do it in five parts, I think. And that is understanding the belief, the problem with cause and effect, the danger of the belief, some alternative perspectives, and then where meaning truly comes from. I mean, let's start with what people mean when we say everything happens for a reason. Usually we utter that phrase, I think, during times of, as I alluded to earlier, tragedy, adversity, like the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, illness, um, or even, like I said, tragedy. And the idea is that every event, every event, no matter how painful and no matter how random, is part of some grand design, right? And that's what we put it together, we package it that way so it makes sense to us, right? And that's whether that design is attributed to fate, the universe itself, or just simply, for those who believe, some higher power. I mean, for many, the notion provides comfort, like we've been saying, right? It's a way to find meaning in the chaos because we have to. Our human condition says we have to find meaning. There has to be a reason for things, right? And especially, we need to believe that suffering in and of itself isn't pointless, right? I mean, we can relate that to some other topics and some other debates, but I digress. But and it helps us to maintain hope, I think, that good will come from evil or from bad. And in moments of uncertainty, this belief helps us feel, and that's important, helps us feel like we're not drifting, I think, on a stormy sea without direction. And I know that sounds awful philosophical when I package it that way, but it's really true, and that's what we do. That's what we go through. But I'm here to tell you that comfort doesn't always equate to truth. At its core, everything happens for a reason argues as if there is some cosmic cause and effect that governs our lives. And that even argues further to the point that each event is somehow deliberately and purposefully orchestrated by something or maybe even someone, and that it's a step. Here's the problem with it, that we think the argument argues to the point that we believe there is going to be some greater good or some greater expectation or purpose for this suffering. But I mean, look around you. Look around you. That is not how the world works. And take, for example, natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes. I mean, are we to believe that these devastating events for some to teach us some lesson uh, about some higher purpose, or are they just geological and environmental events that occur around us all the time, really, and we pay no attention to them until they affect us? But I mean, yeah, are we to believe that we're being punished with these natural disasters, like I says, or tragedies such as, you tell a mom who has just lost a child, either during birth or in any form, that that happened for a reason, and see what reaction you get, right? Because that to a mother and to anyone is a tragedy. And you're, again, the argument is, are you saying you're being punished for some higher purpose or some higher good to come from that belief? I don't know. Are you? Or is it just all what it is? Randomness, simple randomness, where the universe just throws things out there because it can. And our job is just to simply accept it as painful, like I said earlier, in how it can be. It is our responsibility to accept the universe as it is, as absurd as living in this universe can be, and as that is to digest. It is just what we need to do. I mean, but what if it's just randomness? We often look for patterns because our brains are wired to make sense of the world. But again, spoiler alert, I'm here to tell you that not all patterns have meaning. Arguing against everything happens for a reason isn't just an exercise in logic. It's also, I think, understanding the dangers as it applies to real world consequences. Yeah. First of all, it invalidates pain. Like the example I gave with the mom losing her child, saying everything happens for a reason can come across as dismissive, and it may even have the person think that their pain is somehow necessary, and that could become a barrier to true empathy, I think. What little girl? The pup is not gonna let me record this without distractions. What, mama? What? Hmm? Starting to drizzle. Daddy's gotta hurry, okay? Go on, go play. Second of all, I think it fosters complacency, because if we believe that everything is fated, then we'll inadvertently, unintentionally stop caring about things that are just, like poverty, discrimination, um, you name it. Anything that is a just cause, we might just give into the fact that, hey, these things happen for a reason, and stop giving a damn about them. And that in itself is problematic. I mean, these things are not just meant to be. They're problems that we can fix, and we should. But again, with the belief that everything happens for a reason, and things are fated, we might just give up. That's scary. Think about that. I mean, not to mention guilt and self blame. I mean, when something bad happens, as humans, we always look for, you know, what did we do wrong? Instead, again, of just accepting the fact that we might not have done anything wrong. And it's all just randomness, just as the universe wanted it to be. And the problem, the true problem with that is not just the guilt and the self blame and shame, but the fact that the mindset creates, I think, unnecessary stress and anxiety. Not that we need any more of that in today's society. And I don't mean to make light of it, but seriously, it does. The mindset is the problem. And then you might ask, and rightfully so Warren, what are you offering? And it really is, and I don't mean it to sound uh, as if I'm talking down to anyone, but it really is simple. And I've been alluding to it now, I think, several segments, and that is just to accept randomness as inevitable. It's not always going to be fair, because life isn't fair. Not every event is some underlying, or has some underlying purpose that we need to go seeking and beat ourselves up about sorting out. Not every event has some underlying purpose. And searching for meaning in everything, we can lose focus of what is really in front of us. And instead of seeking meaning from the absurd universe, again, this might sound a little pretentious and philosophical, even maybe cliche, but instead of seeking purpose, how about we create true meaning and true purpose in our lives? And there's several ways to do that. And one, and it goes to our conversation, is choice. The choices we make, right? Create meaning from the choices we make every day, because we are not in control of chance, but we're in control of our choices. So that's where we can start, right? Making choices through the values that we truly hold. Another approach is to recognize the growth that we can have through adversity. Often, again, we deal with the adversity, but we never dig a little deeper to see if there is, dare I say, any meaning to it. And that's without, again, thinking or assuming that the adversity was predestined, right? We can take that adversity and we can grow from it. And that too, you've heard before, but it's, I think what we struggle with it's not that we haven't heard some of these things before. It's in their application, right? I mean, we're humans. We hear these things, we know them, we understand them, and we don't apply them. We can turn painful experiences into opportunities. You heard that before, but again, we just don't apply it though, right? And that is why I think I wanted to tackle this conversation. Is just, why do we have to believe that pain, especially, was meant to be? And then in doing that, just do so much damage to ourselves. And I mean, take for instance, you missed your train and you met someone on the platform, and you and that person become the best of friends. And instinctively, you want to tie that meeting in, this was meant to be. And it's not, because what if you had caught your train and met someone completely different, or not met anyone at all? The point is, it was all random, but because of what it means to us, or what we want it to mean to us, we applied meaning to it. But it's chance, purely chance. And I mean, there are other hardships we could use. There are other hardships I could use. Like, I used the mother losing her child example, job loss, illnesses, tragedies, especially tragedies, the ones that hurt, pain, I should say, especially the painful things. We, I said it earlier, we must, it seems, apply or find meaning to it because it hurts so much. But in the end, my friends, chance, randomness, all of it. But where does true meaning come from, right? Where does it come from? In the end, the universe doesn't hand out meaning. We craft it, from the relationships we foster and nurture to our creativity, our innovations, the way we deal with events if and when they occur. Those are the true resources to meaning. And if you believe, like I do, that the true currency of our lives is our happiness, then you will accept the fact that the universe is random. I mean, we're not characters in some scripted drama. And I think we're co-authors of our own stories. And I say co-authors because the universe gets a vote. And if we just accept that, that we're co-authors of writing our own stories, and that sometimes things happen. Things just happen. Not for any reason, but because of chance and the chaos and a myriad of probably tiny, tiny little decisions. All right? Things just happen. And it's okay. Yeah, but I think I want to wrap up there. I think I've kept you long enough. And if you're still around, I appreciate you sticking around and giving me a listening ear. But yeah, everything happens for a reason is a comforting idea. It is. It is a very comforting idea, but it doesn't stand up to scrutiny, all right? It doesn't stand up to scrutiny at all. Not every event is predestined and meaningful, and if we believe otherwise, I think it leads to more pain, complacency, and guilt, right? And I don't think we need any more of that. So until our next conversation, you be good out there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. We'll see you.